Greetings and salutations yet again, Earthlings. It is May 20th, Tuesday. Hamburger, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday. So, today has been interesting thus far because it's trying to flow and the iPhone stuff, no matter how much I delete, says that I've got too much storage to be able to do my iPhone update and fix whatever, no matter, and I keep deleting stuff and restarting it and all whatever. So I can't update it and it won't. And my phone won't, it won't back up or anything. So weirdness ensues. So I don't know if I'll be able to record here or not, but, anyway. It's been a very interesting day thus far. I was flowing in thoughts about Nikola Tesla and greetings and salutations yet again, Earthlings. I don't know what he's eating and rolling in, but anyway. So it's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. Damp and such, and weirdnesses ensue. And I was trying to talk about the fact that I was trying to record that flow earlier about Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein being on a cruise to do the Manhattan Project or whatever the crap it was, about that ship USS. I'll have to Google that. Anyway, but it blinked out of sight, appeared in a harbor, and then reappeared back at the location that they were at. I think it was like they used like a farm as like a cover operation site for the studies anyway. And the men were, some of them had become a part of the ship and integrated into their anatomy and stuff like that. They melded into each other. And I do not know what happened to those that were lucky enough to have survived not having that part happen to them. But there's something about that is a part of this weird Terminator moment when the mom was outside of the playground and the moment. That's kind of like the skipping a record we're feeling as we're trying to play out the karma of all the atrocities that's happened throughout history. Since Jesus said, go and sin no more, alright, I'll take this hit. But from this point on, mark it. Your people who are integrated within these bodies, since you did your nasty, have until this point in time, until the sky woo-woo stuff comes about that the Incas have predicted. And when that comes down, that weighing of the heart, whatever is within all of these creatures being evolved into inhabitants of this world will be eliminated if they cannot vibrate above this certain level. So he brought different things to slowly evolve us above and beyond the low vibing parts that are within our DNA. So let them do whatever they're going to do in each periodic time in history that the earth vibrates at a certain level, sound, heat wise, whatever, certain markers that happen environmentally within the cadence of all of the technology and people chatter, animal chatter, vibrations within the sound, animals within the oceans and things like that. It has to stay in balance. And however that happens in the biohemisphere is how that's designed. That's why there's been so many natural catastrophes throughout history, and whatever couldn't survive that, well, there you go. So now, when Jesus said, go and sin no more, that is exactly what he meant. So whatever's within these vessels, they did not allow those that integrated their DNA within, that didn't have access. You either had the memories to that scientific technology or whatever within your DNA that you're able to access so that you can operate whatever the ancestor technology was left to us. And if you don't, and that's why they didn't destroy it, because they knew, they were hoping that they might be able to do like some sort of, I don't know, piggybacking of the DNA, like a certain combination. Well, if I do a combination of like, alright, say you're drawing up a Dungeons and Dragons character. Well, if I create a druid warrior, you would, as a whatever character you're gonna roll up, you got to try to think about their charisma, their intelligence. There's a chaos factor. There's always a chaos factor within the DNA of how we're going to turn out. Like in my genetic makeup that I know of, the chances of me coming out with brown hair, dark complected, with curly hair was a high probability, because, well, Uncle Willie, Aunt Dido, curly hair. My Aunt Mary had a natural afro in the 70s, which is unheard of for white people. Hello. Beautiful, beautiful afro. She was a cheerleader. Gorgeous. Ow! She was quite... she's still stunning. Anyway, I do not... There's not an ugly one in the bunch. I'm just saying of my people. And so, I mean, I have my moments, so do I always, anyway. Reel it back in. Considering everything I've been through, I am pretty darn cute and I've aged rather well. Considering the oral radiation and the heart attacks and the poisoning from Camp Lejeune, so maybe, I don't know, anyway. Reel it back in. What do we, alright. One of the flows that I had as part of the working out of karma was the fact that my kids dwelled within me as I grew beneath my mother's heart, as she was growing beneath her mother. So while Mama was going through the stuff she was going through, and y'all, some of the stuff that I heard about what my mama went through, no wonder she was freaking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. God bless her. Oh my God. And the things that my mama had to be around when she went to visit, and it was forced on her to go visit those people until she married my dad. He's like, you ain't That is the last time. No, ma'am. And he put a kibosh on that. No more visiting of those relatives because they were... Anyway, that's where some of the really scars on my mom started that have been having to deal with and work through, and that's the way the karma's working. And then there's something about, they call it ahead of time. One of the things having to deal with my lineage, Jezebel spirit. And I know, why do I say it was called ahead of time? Because that was one of the things that my mama said over me when I was a sweet, innocent 11-year-old. And anyway, yeah, they have to, like, advanced tactic measures, like when you're playing a game, like Magic the Gathering, you have to, if it's your turn, it is your turn to attack or defend. What are you going to do? Are you going to reinforce what you've got going on? And you got the cards in your hand, the luck of the draw of how you're going to proceed. But if somebody else attacks you, that gives you the advantage of having the ability to respond to their attack that they are announcing. So, and you have a chance to defend. Unless it's an instantaneous, a magic attack. Like an act of God, y'all. There ain't no stopping none of that. And so, anyway, those are important factors in the way stuff plays out. So, and that's kind of what we've been going through karmically, is they'll say stupid shit, and whether you feed into it and give it fear and energy is how that plays out. What are you focusing on? Focus on the good solutions and resolutions, coming together as communities, families, and partners, strengthening your marriages, strengthening your bonds with your kids, and know that they are using your family to kind of like Ancient Anderson kind of sort of thing. So, and when you feel those certain energies, understand that it's a test and a trial, and don't play into it, because we are weeding out the negative, bitter roots of our past. And the way that we're doing that is the fact that my kids were beneath my heart as I was growing beneath my mom. And my mom was able to recognize that, ooh, I am not going to do that with my kids. And she didn't with me. She did raise me differently than my mama raised her in a whole lot of ways, despite the turmoil and damage that she had from not only Mama's abuse, but the abuse that she suffered being around Mama's warped family. And that grandfather was in and out of prison and moonshine, and ooh, it was bad, from what I understand. And then, like I said, I don't know how Papa got tied up with Mama, but anyway, it had to happen so that we could be right here, right now. And anyway, my babies were growing beneath me. They heard everything going on as I grew up, the way I did. So, us being the weirdos that we are, they were born. Okay, look, while they were in there, they were percolating and gestating, marinating their ideas and tactics and stuff, because we were always talking about, okay, we're not going to do this way. I want this different. And my babies are tuned in enough and a part enough of me to be very much like that. Yeah, you're right, we ain't going to do that. They're half me, hello. And they're my dad, too. My dad tried to, from what I could see, that Mom does not like to, my point of reference was, Dad tried to avoid fighting with Mom, y'all. But Mom, when Mom decides something, it's right then, right then. She's large and in charge, and she will tell you that. She's large and in charge. So, and a lot of times, what she says goes, and she does not consider anybody else because, well, anyway, and I'm not being derogatory. I'm just saying she had to be that way when Dad was gone because there was a lot depending on her. And anyway, she had her escape ways. Hers was gambling. She had a thing for bingo and then slot machines and I don't know. She had a very unhealthy relationship with money, but hey, she earned it. She knew how to earn it. She taught me excellent work ethics. Ain't gonna lie on it. I got an excellent work ethic from both my parents. No matter how much Dad drank, that alarm went off when he was putting that uniform on. You can bet he was sober by the time he left the house. He could have stopped drinking an hour before. And I've never seen the beat of it in my life. And I'm telling you, he was sober when he was on. There was, I mean, he was an alchemist. I mean, really. Electrical engineer, hello. Anyway, okay, reel it in. My kids being born beneath me. And as they came out, as Jess was separated, Kyle still had more time within me to percolate and marinate plans as she was growing separate. So he had his own time separate, and then once he separated from me, that is when like the trace markers, energetic markers, there's something about that that's very important in the lineage things. And then it went from there. When Jess separated from me, and Shaylee and the boys were within her, and Kyle, same thing with him. Those kids were learning our lessons together as we were learning it. So, seriously. Both of them were within me when I was learning to play Dungeons and Dragons. That's imperative. So they were learning those tactics and things too. And there's something about World War II when all this weird stuff started happening. And that was like one of the big markers of the energetic record that we keep cyclically coming back to disperse the trauma of all that war and interplays that each of us are helping to dissipate as a whole, because Mother Earth took a hit too, y'all. Everything. And all of us coming together is what's helping to But what I was saying about the generations and the kids, that's how we're breaking generational curses, is the linking of that mentality of like tag teaming things like that genetically and energetically while we're in this world, making those links and bridges with ancestors to help dissipate the trauma of all of this. And we know that this is not ours. We will not perpetuate perversions of love. And there's something about my lineage and wind talkers. And the wind talkers is in the ethers, and that is all indigenous people are of the ether energetic network able to shamanically, magically help with this stuff. And they can't, and the yuck, the trash DNA that's crap that we're trying to absolve attachments to low frequency stuff that keeps us off from loving and healing and overflowing, all of us thriving. The ones trying to stay in power because they aren't able to evolve. It's our way of, we always knew that would come to this time that they either level up or level out of all of our existence. They're not allowed to parasitically attach, coattail, ride in any shape, form, or fashion. We are loved, and we learn and evolve and become the most beautiful reflections of Father God as the best us as we can. That is the point of us going within. Going within. And the parts of me that's within my babies, that's forevermore. That is forevermore. And God dwells within me as me. So yeah, there's free will, but there is a part of me that is sovereign. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I am sovereign. And I am eternal. I don't give a crap what this vessel is. And that is what is in them babies. That part of me is in that DNA. And that is Father within me as me, trying very intentionally always to do the best I can in every moment. I always knew when I was saved, when I know it was an angel that held me up until I was, yeah, I always knew. Always. Anyway. So that's where I'm at with things today. But yeah, the whole storage thing is very weird, y'all. I don't get it. Anyway. Another otra vez al revés. Again, otra vez al revés. En otro padre que siendo otra vez que andando otra vez y en otro otra vez al revés. En otro otra vez en otro en otra vez al revés. Muadra, que era otra vez. Muadra, que no trasciendo un de otra, que otra sa. Onda, otra sa na metra, baka otra vez. En la otra vez en la nana. La da e otra sa no man otra vez. Otra vez. Muadra, que no trasciendo. feeble heart thinking about you. How you think about you? I'm gonna call it on this because it's the brutality. I'm gonna scoot back in the house because I don't know what's going on with all this stuff. Anyway, what's the matter, baby? Baby's a suitcase you've been packing. Just sit down and talk with me a while. No, you tried to. What was lacking? Guess. Don't touch it, darling. Here we go. Girl, I swear you all listen.